G'day, it's Pete here, and today I wanted to give you my tips on how to win at Hearts. So for Hearts, the number one thing that I would suggest trying to work on to improve is counting cards. It's really useful in lots of card games, but Hearts, it seems really vital. So how do I like to count cards? So first of all, I think it's really important to try and count down. So what I mean by this is if you've got a 6-card suit, I say I've got 6, it's 13 total, so you take 6 away. The other 3 players have 7, and then I just count down as it goes. I just usually pick my longest suit or my 2 longest suits to try and count. It's a bit difficult to try and count all of them, but I really recommend counting at least 1 suit, and if not, 2. Another little tip is if you forget to count and you're playing online, the Heart suit actually shows you how many points people have collected this round. And usually when playing in person, people leave like the hearts face up so you can see who's actually collected points. So you can count hearts later if you actually think it's relevant, but it's still useful to build the habit of trying to count early. Another really important thing that I like to do is look for low cards. Watch for the low cards, the 2s, the 3s, and the 4s. So I want to do this for 2 reasons. Number one, what happens in a lot of games of Hearts is people will play a suit and then at some point someone will get stuck on lead and just have to keep playing it and all the points come crashing in on them. Whereas if you look for those low cards, you can work out when can we try and exit? Can we get off lead and get out of this? First of all, if you don't have a suit that has a low card in it, maybe you just have to play some of it, get rid of it early, and then go to a different suit. If you do have the low cards, you want to work out when you should be exiting, and this comes back to counting cards to help you. But also, watching when the opponents play low cards, you'll know that when they show out. So if someone plays a 2, it's pretty likely that that's their last card, and you might be able to guess the shape pretty well. Or something that I think is really relevant is, especially on trick 1, when people lead clubs, if you see someone play a really low club on that first trick, you might be expecting some shortages there. The final reason that you actually want to look for low cards is trying to guess their intentions of, are they trying to shoot the moon? I'll talk more about my strategies for shooting the moon later, but if you see some low cards early, it might clue you in on someone actually trying to shoot the moon. The next thing that I wanted to talk about is which cards should we typically be passing when we're actually playing Hearts? So there's a few different things that I like to try and consider, and I'll talk about the pros and cons of them. But my first and favorite thing that I like to try and do is to create a shortage. Try and create a suit where you've either got none of them or only one of them. So maybe I toss all 3 diamonds or all 3 clubs, just so that I have a shortage there. And the value of this is if that suit gets played, you can then either get rid of your danger cards or you can throw points on people, and it's really valuable if you can actually create this shortage. So this is my favorite thing to try and look for, is can I create a shortage? And that will really open up the gameplay of being able to sort of get rid of danger suits for you, or to punish people with points depending on what's appropriate with your hand. So if I have no concerns, that will be my number 1 tip. Try and toss all of 1 suit just so that you create a real shortage there. The downside of that is sometimes you just get it all back and you haven't actually achieved anything, but most of the time you can do that. The second thing that I really look for is danger suits, and this is suits where I've got no low cards whatsoever. Like maybe my lowest card's like a 7 or a 6 or something, and I've got 4 of them. What usually happens is this is going to be a suit that you'll just get punished with. People will play some other cards and then they'll put you in, and then you'll just have to keep playing that, and you'll play it until you collect so many points. So these are called danger holdings. I look for intermediates in this suit, or suits where I have no low cards. So maybe I will toss that suit. Also, if you've just got like shortages with like aces or kings or just high cards, maybe you can toss them. The third thing that I try and look for are sort of, do I want to pass the really expensive cards, the high spades, or potentially just some high hearts as well, which can if you win a high heart, you're only taking 1 point per heart, but what happens is someone will play it, and usually you're taking 4 points because you're going to win that trick. So I think it's instinctive for people to want to try and pass the Queen of Spades or the Ace or King of Spades, which are quite dangerous because you can often take 13 points for collecting it. But it's something I'm a bit hesitant to actually pass unless I've got a shortage in spades. So if I've only got 2 spades, I'm quite keen to pass those Ace, King, Queen of Spades. Similarly, if I've got a shortage in hearts and I've got high hearts, I will toss them as well. But if I've got 4 spades, I will almost never actually pass a spade. If I've got 3, I really look at my hand and work out what I actually want to do. The reason I don't like passing a spade on it is, let's say we've got 3 spades to the ace. I might pass the ace, but collect the queen, and now I've got this short spade queen. Whereas if you held on to your ace of spades, what's going to happen is you've now got 4 spades, and it's a lot harder for the opponents to force you to get the queen just by continually playing the suit. So the longer your spade suit is, the safer it is for you to be able to avoid getting punished with the queen. Now, having the ace or the queen or the king is actually dangerous, but it's harder for them to punish you with it the longer it is. So if you're passing these spades away, you're creating a shortage where you might collect that card back. Otherwise, you're also giving up your opportunity to do something good, like create a shortage or get rid of those danger suits elsewhere. So I don't rush to try and get rid of those. Also, just having the ace or king of spades means that sometimes people will lead it and you're just the 4th person to play. That happens a lot, and you can get rid of that suit safely a reasonable amount of times. Also, the benefit of having the queen of spades is you can choose who to punish with the queen of spades quite a lot of times. So passing high spades or high hearts is something I do, but usually only when I've got a shortage. Otherwise, I'm pretty happy to try and hold on to them, and I look for something else to actually do that. The next thing I wanted to talk about is how to shoot the moon. First of all, this isn't something I'm particularly good at. It's not in my general playstyle. The way I try and play is really to just limit the amount of points I get on nearly every hand. Whereas shooting the moon's high risk, high reward. It's definitely a spot to go for it. There's definitely hand types that work for it. But I think I get it less than other people that go for it a lot more. So the first thing that you want to look for when trying to shoot the moon is just in your hand. If you've got some sort of like middling or low cards, often you can try and use these earlies where people don't know you're trying to shoot the moon. So if you get on lead and you've got like a 8 of hearts and you have to sneak one of these past, as soon as hearts are broken, maybe you can just lead it, and people, they might take it for insurance, but you might just sneak it past them. So getting rid of those intermediate or lowish cards early can just leave you with this hand full of really high cards. So that's the first thing that you can actually try and do. The second thing is what type of hands are good for trying to shoot the moon. Now, I actually think the best type is when you have a void heart, because hearts, you can't lead until they're broken. And if you've got a void heart with lots of high cards elsewhere, what you can do is just win those other suits, duck a few low cards in all the other suits while people have them, and then just take them all the other high cards. And if you never have to play even a single heart, then you'll quite often shoot the moon that way. Alternatively, it's also quite useful to have what I call solid hearts, like ace, king, queen, jack to 6 hearts or something, where if you can manage to stay on lead and have someone toss a heart away, you can then start banging down the ace, king, queen, jack of hearts and drawing the hearts out of the opponents, so that all you have to worry about later is the queen of spades. Now, this is quite effective because even if you don't shoot the moon, you're not copping that 13 points at the end. So it's less risky if you can draw all the hearts and then just see if you collect the queen of spades later. Where if you start the other way, or have a hand where you're not sure if you're going to do it and you collect the queen of spades but just miss out on 1 heart, often you end up with like 25 points or high 20 points, and it is really costly. So that's another way that you can try and do it. If you've got really good hearts and you manage to collect one heart early such that hearts are broken, and then you can just bang down ace, king, and queen. Get rid of the opponent's hearts and go from there. So they're my tips on how to shoot the moon. The final thing that I wanted to talk about is keep an eye on the scorecard. It's really important to try and target opponents. So look at who's leading, and as the game progresses, see if you can try and put points on the person who's leading, bring them back into the fold so that it's a closer game. And if you're winning, try and work out, can you knock someone over the edge? Can you give points such that they reach 100? And for this, it's important not to try and rush to get rid of your points on people. So often you might have the queen of spades and you see an opportunity to toss the queen of spades on someone. But if you've got really long spades and you're not in danger of getting it yourself, maybe you could sit back and wait a little while, wait to see if the leader's actually going to win a trick and punish them with the queen of spades. So don't rush to throw away all your points first. Instead, what I like to try and do is set up my hand such that I get rid of all my danger cards first, such that I'm not going to get back on lead and there's not something that I'm worried about collecting points. And instead I'll try and throw the danger cards away first and keep the cards that can give points and wait to actively choose who do I want to try and pin points on so that I have a better chance of winning. Anyway, they're my tips for how to win hearts. Hope you enjoyed watching this video. Thanks all for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.